Welcome to Prime Life. We call it Retirement 2.0. Leave each episode with tips and new ideas to help you navigate retirement in our new age. It's your time. Make it count.
Welcome back to the Prime Life podcast, where we explore the ideas, innovations, and people sharing the future of longevity. I'm Mary Crean. Today I'm joined by Fernanda and Dave Jacobs. They're the co-owners of Fleet Feet, West Hartford and Glastonbury in Connecticut. Fernanda is a certified running coach who has completed, wait till you hear this, 48 marathons and is on track to run her 50th in February 2027. Dave has spent more than 30 years in commercial real estate before making a career change and joining Fernanda in owning the business. Together, they've built more than a running store. They've created a gathering place for runners, walkers, and people looking to stay active at every stage of life. Fernanda and Dave, welcome to the Prime Life podcast. I have witnessed some of this from a distance and now a little bit more up close, your amazing story and success. And you may or may not know this, but my husband, Jerry, we've been married for quite a few years and we were once in business together. So I take my hat off to you. Let's just jump right in. And again, as I said before, if you talk over each other a little bit, it's quite fine. But let's start with your story. What made the two of you decide to becoming owners of Fleet Feet? Dave, you want to kick it off and then we can go to Fernanda, or either way?
I'm going to go because it actually was me that got this going. So many years ago, I was a stay-at-home mom and avid runner, loved running. And it got to the point that the kids were old enough. I wanted to get back into work and we needed a little extra income. And I had worked at the Connecticut legislature for years, and there was no way you could pay me enough money to go back up there. The hours were crazy and just a lot going on. So I wanted to do something that I loved. And the two things that I loved were dogs or running. And I even looked at possibly doing dog walking, but what happened to walk into Fleet Feet, had been a customer for years, loved the manager there, Nancy, started talking to her because there was a sign at the door that said, "We're hiring." And I'm like, "What are you looking for?" And she said, "What are you looking for?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking for mom hours." And she's like, "What do you consider mom hours?" I said, "I'm good anytime from 9 to 3. And then I would need to be at home because I have to take the kids to activities because my husband works and a lot of times he travels." And she's like, "Can you work a weekend day?" And I said, "Of course I can work a weekend day. He's home. He's got the kids. I'm fine with that." She's like, "You're hired." And I'm like, "What do you mean I'm hired?" She's like, "Fill out the application. You're hired. You're the demographics of the people that we're looking for. You're the age. It's perfect." So I got hired on the spot. And within a month of working there, I fell in love with it. And I said to the owner, "Steph, if you ever want to sell, let me know because I am absolutely and completely interested." And I just moved up to the ranks. And 6 years later, she approached me and said to Dave, "They're ready." And that's where we moved. And we went from there. And that's how we became owners of Fleet Feet.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. Dave, you want to add anything to that?
Well, it's worked out great because now instead of every holiday and birthday and whatever the occasion is, I don't have to go shopping at someone else's store anymore. I can do it at my own store. But yeah, I mean, what Nan said is absolutely how it happened. And the more that she talked about her experiences there from day to day, it just seemed like, boy, if we ever had the opportunity, wouldn't this be terrific? And, I had been in commercial real estate, traveling for years. I had put in a good 30 plus years. And the opportunity to do something together and much more entrepreneurial just seemed like it was too good to pass up. So we worked with Steph and her sister Carrie to make it happen. And in May of 2023, it happened.
Yeah. And totally coincidentally, but I know Stephanie and I adore her. She's amazing. And I have not met her sister. But it's so wonderful when you can purchase a business from someone who's trustworthy and also is a ball of energy. So I love hearing that.
We completely agree with you. We have a great relationship with Stephanie. In fact, she coaches at CrossFit where we go. We've come full circle. Sister is now our senior buyer for both stores. So she's working with us. So it was kind of like a homecoming for Carrie, and it's kind of all in the family. And we get together from time to time, and we still work together and collaborate, and exchange information. It was one of those stories that you love to read about, but unfortunately, sometimes they don't always go that well.
That's absolutely the case. And so what I love about this story is, again, trustworthy people. I always say good people know good people.
Absolutely.
And also letting go of a business is sometimes a little more challenging for an individual than they anticipate when it's time to sort of shake hands and hand over the keys, so to speak. And so it sounds like that went well, and you had also that ongoing support, which sometimes as business owners, we don't know everything there is to know, and having that trusted advisor is pretty amazing.
It's true. There was certainly a learning curve, and Steph very much wanted to make sure that what she worked so hard to build was successful going forward with us.
And we can pick up the phone anytime and just call her up. I mean, she's representing us at an event this Saturday, and she's happy to represent Fleet Feet anywhere she goes and to continue representing Fleet Feet for us. So she's amazing. We love Steph. We'll always.
She is amazing. She is amazing. You're absolutely right. I know that firsthand. Fernanda, with 48 marathons under your belt, and Dave, with your background in sports and coaching, you both stayed active for decades. How has your approach to training changed as you've gotten older? And Dave, you and I chatted about that when you were so kind to be a major player over at the Blue Jean Mile, as we were standing there saying the importance of moving as we get older. But you and Fernanda do the coaching and, your experience with sports. How has that changed for both of you as you've aged?
You really have to listen to your body. I love running. I just did a marathon 3 weeks ago, and my longest training run was an 18 miler. And normally I like to go to 22 miles to make sure I'm wrapped up for it. And I just didn't have the time. We were crazy busy. And I just went into race day going, you know what? This is going to be fun. I'm going to make the most of it. Doesn't matter if I finish in 4 hours, doesn't matter if I finish in 6 hours. I'm going to get across that finish line, and I'm going to enjoy doing it. And as you get older, you have to change your expectations. I'm not looking at a time anymore. I'm not looking to qualify for Boston. I'm not looking to qualify for New York, which I've done, and that was always a goal for me. Now is my goal is have fun, enjoy the day, and make sure I can keep moving. I don't want an injury. I'm not going to push my body past that point. And when I'm done with the race, it's like, okay, a week, I'm going to walk my puppies, enjoy walking my puppies. I don't need to go to the gym. I don't need to do anything. Just give my body that grace to recover that week, put back into what was taken out. And then the week after that, start up again. But you got to listen to your body at this age. And if something happens, don't say, oh, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Go see that physical therapist. Go see that doctor, because they will help you keep moving and get you to the point that you need to be at.
Yeah, that's great advice. Dave, how about you?
Well, I completely agree with that. And, I think that that's reflected in our approach with our community and our runners. We're known as a running store, but the majority of our customers are not avid runners. They're walkers. They're medical runners. A lot of them are runners and just need a good daily trainer. Some of them want the super shoes. And we've got everything from stability shoes for walking all the way up to super shoes for getting your next PR. I think that's reflected in our fun runs. We have a fun run at each store every week, and we have people come and walk their dogs. We have people that walk. We have people that walk. We have people that are out to make sure they get the most out of it and they really train hard. And it's really inclusive. We will have up to 100 or 125 people on a fun run in West Hartford on a Wednesday night. And there's something for everybody. No one is ever left behind. And it's just a really inclusive environment. And we want to make sure that people are just moving, just be active. Not everyone needs to go lift weights. Not everyone needs to go to the track. do need to keep on moving. Your body needs it, your head needs it. And that's what we stress. That's what we want to see. We want people to move. We want them to be comfortable while they're moving. And we want them to know that there's a community that's going to support them.
Yeah. And I've also witnessed that as well. I've been amazed by the number of people that have showed up to your various fun runs. And I know you're also in other communities as well, and you're always there. And again, I think that you also, no pun intended, you walk the talk. But one thing I hear consistently about Fleet Feet in general is the knowledge of the individuals that work for you, your team. Why is it so important that you have the expertise of your team, but also they deliver that with great customer experience?
Well, your feet are your foundation. It supports your entire body. And if there's something off with your fit, then there might be something off with your knee or your hip or your back. And you would be amazed at how many people come into the store complaining about pain, and they've never gone through a real fit process, and they don't understand that their shoes are not the right size. They might be too big, they might be too small. Maybe they're not getting the necessary support and they need an insole. It's just of critical importance to get it right. And so we put people through a shoe school, and our shoe school is actually, it's really never ending. But during the first week of someone's employment, they literally try on every shoe in the store, and they have experience with every single insole, and they learn how to perform the 3D evaluation on our Fit ID system. We have technical sheets. I mean, it's vast. And then ongoing, we have clinics with the shoe representatives or the insole representatives or the sock representatives. We have online training that we monitor and that they're required to take. And that's from what I'll call it Fleet Feet University. The great thing about being a franchise owner, a larger mid-sized corporation like Fleet Feet, is that they've got those back of the house programs like online training. And so it's really never ending. And between the Fit ID and their knowledge and walking across a pressure plate and doing a gait analysis, we can dial in a fit, and people generally walk away much better. The people that are challenged anyway with medical or various issues, once they're properly fit, those tend to subside and they're a lot more comfortable.
Your feet can affect so much in your body, as you said. Go ahead, Fernanda.
Absolutely. The way you stand. A lot of people don't realize that your feet change through the years. Like everything else in our body, our feet change. I love the person who comes in. I've been a size 8. I'm a size 8 my whole entire life. My foot has not changed. I'm still an 8. And I look at them and I go, has your hair changed? Well, yeah, of course. I'm going, has your weight changed over the years? Well, yeah, of course. Well, weight change is going to affect the way your feet are. Women get pregnant, they put on a lot of weight. We release relaxants to go into labor. Well, those relaxants release a lot of things in our body, not just what you need for labor. Your feet get a little bit longer, your feet expand. So if you haven't had your foot measured, you need to have your foot measured, because the likelihood of that you're still that size that you were when you were 22 years old at 60, at 40 is not going to be there. I was a 6 before I had children. I'm an 8 to a 9 on any given shoe on the wall at this point. And you also have to realize shoes are made differently by different companies. Different factories cut them. So they're all going to fit different. You might be a 7.5 in one shoe. You're a 9 in another, depending what last they use and what the shoe is and how much cushion is in it. So it's important to get your feet measured and evaluated.
Yeah, no, that's
a lot of people say, I've been wearing this same shoe for the last 10 years and that's what I want. What they don't understand is that they haven't been wearing the same shoe.
Right.
Every year to 18 months, shoes update. They have different foams. They have different drops. They have different uppers. They're built differently. The shoes are constantly changing. So you may think, for instance, I've always been in a Nimbus. Well, they're about to introduce the Nimbus 28, meaning that shoe has been around and updated 28 times over the years. So the Nimbus that you were in years ago is not the Nimbus that you're in now. And maybe that was a perfect shoe for you then, but it might not be a perfect shoe for you now as your feet have expanded. And maybe that shoe is a little narrower than what you should be using. And you should move to a different Asics or something. And that's what our people will be able to identify. You know, when they look at the 3D image of your foot on the iPad and then they show it to you, things begin to click. We can see the light bulb go off for people and they become much more receptive to trying different shoes. And that's the first step of the process.
Yeah, no, those are all great points. And I also think that you made another point, which I guess I hadn't thought of, but I think about how sports equipment and even, you know, wearables that we have access to, how that's changed over the last 20 years dramatically. And I know some of the fibers and the different materials have changed also, hopefully for the better, right? Because people are wearing sneakers and running shoes and everything, I think now more than ever. I mean, we see people in those when they're sometimes in a suit, literally, like they're at work and they have a shoe that, you know, used to be where you just used it to exercise or to walk or to run. And so that's the other point. And I think there's so many good looking shoes that it's sometimes hard to make a decision, and also colors. So sometimes I think people can get in their mind like, oh, I love that pink pair over there. But it may not be the right fit. And Dave, as I mentioned earlier, last time I saw you was at an event in downtown in Hartford for raising money for mental health awareness for kids. And so community involvement seems to be a big part of what you do. How extensive is your Fleet Feet community engagement? I know you talked a little bit about your fun runs and different things, but if you could expand upon.
And we'll get that answer after a brief word from our commercial sponsors.
NASA is always working harder to be your carrier of choice. We offer insurance products that can help you meet your retirement goals, such as protecting your savings, securing lifetime income, or paying for healthcare costs. We're dedicated to providing best-in-class service and are keeping things simple, and we'll have your back. We have around 400,000 policyholders and contract holders and have been doing this for a long time, 170 years, but we remain humble enough to always try to improve. For more information, visit nfg.com. Nassau Insurance products are issued by Nassau Life and Annuity Company of Hartford, Connecticut, Nassau Life Insurance Company, East Greenbush, New York, or Nassau Life Insurance Company of Kansas, Overland Park, Kansas. Subsidiaries of Nassau Financial Group. Products are not available in all areas. Policyholder counts are for all Nassau companies as of September 30th, 2022, and are subject to change. That, Dave, Fernanda, that would be great.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about with Steph when she was selling the door to us was that she wanted to make sure that her charitable work continued. And I wanted to make sure that it not only continued, but that it was enhanced. And part of that was because of my corporate background. You know, we had performed a lot of charitable work, but it was mostly to put in an annual report. I'm not saying that there wasn't benefit from it, but I knew that we could do better. And so not only did we continue the vast majority of initiatives that Steph and Carrie had put in motion, but we added to them. So Steph was working with Footwear with Care, which is an organization that puts boots on the homeless during the winter and shoes on the homeless during the spring. And now Fernanda and I are working with that organization. I'm on the board and basically responsible for procurement. And last winter, we put almost 700 pairs of boots on the homeless or unstably housed population of Greater Hartford. And this spring, another 400 running shoes on them. We work with the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford. We are scheduled for later this month to provide 650 pairs of shoes for the children that are attending the Boys and Girls Club summer camp, which is huge. Our high school program has just grown and grown. Recently, Bloomfield High School was awarded a proclamation in the chamber, the state of Connecticut chamber. And before they went, they made an appeal that they wanted Fleet Feet to be there with them and to be honored, because we've been giving them shoes literally every fall, winter, and spring for each one of the seasons, outdoors and indoors, track and cross country.
Wow.
Their entry rate has plummeted. They're back-to-back conference champions, back-to-back state champions, and they wanted us to share in the limelight. And so that was terrific. When Hurricane Melissa devastated Jamaica, one of our employees lost her brother. And so inside a week and a half, we put together the Dean Wall Jamaica Relief Program. We raised over $5,000. We donated 500 pairs of Gore-Tex shoes, 700 pairs of socks, had a big fundraiser, that was attended by the lieutenant governor, state senator, local representative, and others. And I think we really, we made a difference. And so that's on a grand scale, but there's so much more that we do on a local scale. A local podiatrist got in touch with us just 3 days ago and said that he was working with an individual who typically got his shoes from Goodwill and really needed something better. And did we have a program? And I told him that we will give him shoes. And he walked out with a brand new pair of Ultras, just got a little bit wider toe box, which accommodated his swollen foot. He was treated just like everybody else. Come on in for the fit process. He was a little bit embarrassed, but just looked at him as someone that needed a good pair of shoes. And so, it really runs the gamut. There are a lot more things that we do that no one mentioned and can remain unmentioned. The fact is that we're out there, and we can do a lot of good because the size that we are and the leverage that we have with our vendor partners, and then just the people that we work with.
Yeah.
One of the
Fernanda,
things people don't realize, I do. He didn't mention this, and this is like one of my favorite things that we do in the store. And it's not even us doing it, it's just giving somebody else in the community the opportunity to do it. Is we have the boxes that we collect old shoes that people want to get rid of. Instead of them ending up in a landfill, they come in and they dump them in our box. And we have a young man named George Udall who's been doing this since he's, I think, 10 years old, and he's about to go into high school. And he comes in once, twice a week, he and his mom, or he and his aunt, or he and his sister, and they go through the box and they separate them. And the ones that are good go in one bag that can still be reused, and they get sent to a veterans organization and they clean them up and give them to veterans. The other ones that are bad, they just get thrown in another box and we get sent to somewhere else. He receives, depending how much weight each bag is, he will receive a check for that. And instead of keeping it for himself, where he does the work himself, he actually donates it to a couple of charities. And of course, one of my favorites, Dog Star Rescue. And he gives them money every year. And it's a wonderful thing. And that's like so small, and we don't even do it, and people don't even see it. But that's like one of my favorite things we do. And this young man, I love him. And now he's taller than I am, and he's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
What a great story that is. I did know that you had the availability for people to bring their old sneakers and shoes and whatnot. But I love that background story. Before we wrap up, both of you have spent years helping people stay active and, as you said, keep moving. As you think about aging, what's one piece of advice that you'd give someone who wants to stay healthy, mobile, and independent for as long as possible?
Just get out there, make the time in your day, say, I'm going to get up and do it, put it on your schedule, because we can get so busy in everything we have to do every day. But if you just carve out the time every day, I'm going to go to the gym from 7 to 8. I'm going to go for a walk from 7 to 8. I'm going to do sit-ups from 7 to 7:15. Make the time in your day to do it. Don't let it be the thing that falls off of your schedule. Make that time for yourself. You need to be a priority.
I love that answer.
And I would only add to that it doesn't have to just be you. You're not alone out there. There are communities for everything that you want to do. I mean, our neighbor is in his 70s, and he found a trail hiking community. he wants to remain active. So he walks his dog in the morning and he goes off with his trail hiking community. You can come to our store. You can go to any number of locations, and you're going to find people like you that want to walk or they want to play pickleball, whatever it happens to be. If you're going to stay healthy, then you have to keep moving. Your body, at one point or another, is going to give you some warning signals, but it doesn't mean that has to stop. Go get help and then find out what you need to do in order to continue moving and continuing to bring benefit, just physically and mentally.
No, I love that. We always ask our guests one last question before we say goodbye. And we can start with you, Fernanda. You shared your background. You have a very interesting background. You're an amazing runner and whatnot. Why do you get up every day and do what you do?
I'm having fun. That's the only thing, is I'm having a blast. I love running. I love running shoes. What more fun can I be doing than talking about running? And I mean, my favorite thing to do when I run a race is somebody passes me or I pass somebody and I hear, "Hey, you sold me these shoes. I love them. They're the best shoes ever." And I'm like, "That's awesome. I'm so happy for you." That is like the best compliment. So if you ever see me in a race and I got you your shoes, just tell me that, because you just make my day. You get me to the finish line.
I love that. Dave, how about you?
Pretty much the same thing. I just love who I work with, the people that are around us, and I just love to help people achieve their goals. We've got so many college students that are more than just our employees. We mentor them. Some of them have graduated. They weren't sure what they were going to do. They came in, they figured they'd sell shoes for a while, and we recognize the talents that they have. And two of those individuals are now heading up our marketing and social media campaigns, and we're trying a career path. Another one of them is now the manager in our store in Glastonbury. Yeah. And as we continue to grow, we like to think that we can offer more opportunities to some of these kids. But it's the other end of the scale as well. I mean, we have some people that are our contemporaries and maybe even a little older who are looking to fill some time. Yeah. One of them, Nanda didn't recruit her. She told her, "You're going to come work for us. You're going to be a coach." For the last 2.5, 3 years, that's exactly what she's done. And she's in the store and she's staying active and she's doing something she loves, which is helping people, with shoes. And I just have to say that the people that I've met through the running community, they're incredible. It's such a tight-knit group. They're very supportive. They come to the store or we go to where they are, and they're always having a great time. We go to races and we help to elevate, we think, the quality of their race. And people come up to us and they thank us for being there. And, they think that we're doing great things, but really we're just trying to be a part of their lives and to make them better and to be out there and to be involved. And, when you're wanted and you have the ability to give back, that's incredibly fulfilling.
I mean, we have 4 children, but it's like you go out there and running, and I'm running with all these, 20-something-year-olds, 30-something-year-olds, and they're like, "That's my running mom. That's my running mom." And that's one of the best compliments you can give me. I can be everybody's running mom. And then if you're my age, I can be your retirement plan. Just come talk to me.
Well, on Prime Life Podcast, we love hearing that, Fernanda. So that was a great kind of ending. Fernanda and Dave, thank you for joining me today. One of the things I've enjoyed most about this conversation is it reminds us that healthy aging doesn't have to mean running marathons. It's about finding ways to keep moving, Dave, as you have said, stay connected and take care of ourselves at every stage of life. And whether you're a lifelong runner or just thinking about taking your first walk around the block, every step counts. Thank you for sharing your story, your expertise, and all that you're doing to support this community, our community. And thanks to our listeners for joining us on the Prime Life Podcast. Until the next time, stay well and keep moving.
Thanks, Mary. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.